Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and give you the essential insights you need fast. And today, we're tackling something huge. If you're navigating the digital world with kids, teenagers, well, you know the stress. It's intense.
Oh, absolutely. Every headline feels like a new danger, doesn't it?
It really does. And that gut reaction, it's almost always the same. Protect, restrict, lock down every screen you can find.
And that anxiety, it's completely understandable. I mean, this world we've built, it's all mediated by devices. Protection is the first instinct. And yeah, that usually means restriction. Building digital walls, often out of fear.
Right. But here's the thing we're diving into today. Our sources are suggesting that this initial, fear-based reaction, locking everything down, well-intentioned, yes, but maybe counterproductive. Long term, anyway.
Exactly.
So our mission is to look at a different philosophy, one that isn't just about locking things down, but about building agency, empowerment.
Yes, precisely. It's about shifting focus, moving from just short-term control, which feels safe initially, towards long-term empowerment, building confidence, and, importantly, cultivating real judgment.
Okay, so that's a big shift in thinking.
It is. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how fundamentally it redefines the relationship with technology itself. We're moving from seeing tech purely as a risk to contain, to seeing it as, well, a space that needs skilled navigation.
Skilled navigation, I like that.
And when we talk about moving to a rights-based approach,
Yeah.
that sounds maybe a bit formal, like legal jargon.
Yeah, a little.
But it's not, really. It's about acknowledging the child's right, their need, actually, to develop confidence in the world they live in, which is digital now. And that means giving them the tools, even letting them make mistakes, safely, of course, while they learn.
Okay, so it's the difference between just making them comply versus them actually internalizing it, taking responsibility.
That's the core difference.
Yeah.
Mandated compliance versus internalized responsibility. Huge difference in outcome.
Which brings us right to this critical shift, this paradigm change you mentioned, moving the parent's role away from being the digital police officer
Yes.
and towards becoming a trusted digital mentor.
That's the pivot. And it's crucial because, let's be honest, the police officer model, it's kind of destined to fail, isn't it?
How so? I mean, sometimes rules are just rules.
Well, yeah, but if the parent's entire focus is just enforcement, counting violations, managing external compliance,
Huh.
first, it's exhausting for the parent. And second, the kid's reaction, especially as they get older, often it's just to hide things, drive the behavior underground. They make mistakes, but they don't seek guidance. They hide them.
Okay, but I have to push back a bit there. When parents are feeling totally overwhelmed, isn't having a clear set of rules, that sort of police officer approach, isn't that sometimes just necessary for basic safety? How do you keep boundaries if you go all in on mentor? Doesn't that sound a bit soft?
That's a really fair point, and a necessary one. Boundaries are absolutely required, no question.
Yeah.
But the mentor approach weaves those boundaries into into moral reasoning. So instead of just, you can't use this app because I said so, the mentor explains, look, we don't use this app because it pushes anonymity, and that often leads to toxic stuff online, and that goes against our family value of, respectful communication.
Oh, okay. So the boundary's still there, but it's framed differently. It's tied to something bigger.
Exactly. The goal is to equip the child with an internal compass, a moral compass, so they can make sound decisions on their own autonomously, especially when you're not right there looking over their shoulder.
Right. You're essentially swapping out constant external watching
Surveillance, yeah.
for building an internal skill set, judgment.
Precisely. And look, this isn't just some abstract psych theory we cooked up. This focus, open communication, proactive skill building, this is actually the consensus view among child safety experts.
Really? A consensus?
Yes. They understand that the best defense against the dangers online isn't necessarily better software locks. It's better judgment. It's stronger family dialogue.
Okay, that makes sense. So if the goal is mentorship, building that internal judgment, we can't just tell a kid, hey, think critically.
Right. No, definitely not.
We need actual tools, specific language. So let's get into segment 2. What are these essential tools? What practical strategies are we actually teaching to help them navigate confidently?
Right. So the course material we looked at introduces several really simple, memorable cognitive shortcuts, little mental tools. They're designed to be sticky, easy to remember, easy to apply right away. We're trying to move past vague summaries into stuff you can actually use.
Okay, sticky tools. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's start with the one that jumped out at me, the grandma rule. How does that work? How do you explain that to, say, a 13-year-old without sounding cheesy?
It's actually surprisingly effective. The grandma rule is basically shorthand for thinking about future consequences.
Hmm.
You look at anything you're about to share online, a photo, a comment, whatever, and you run it through two quick mental filters. Filter 1. Would I be okay if my kindest, most understanding, least judgmental grandma saw this?
Okay.
Filter 2. Would I be okay if the person interviewing me for my dream job in 5 years saw this?
Ah. Okay. That is different angles: immediate propriety and future self-interest.
Exactly. It forces them to think about permanence and audience right there in the moment. It's simple but powerful.
I can see that. And that connects to the bigger idea of managing your digital footprint, right?
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole mentorship strategy isn't just telling them they have a digital footprint. It's making them understand it's something they actively manage. It's an asset, or it can be a liability.
So what does managing it look like practically?
Well, it involves things like critical thinking about privacy settings, actually understanding them, knowing what metadata might be embedded in a photo they share, understanding that hitting delete often doesn't mean it's truly gone.
Right. The internet never forgets, or
Uh-huh.
rarely does.
Pretty much. And that brings us to another key concept you mentioned. Be an upstander. What does that actually mean online? You can't physically step in.
Yeah, that term needs grounding.
Okay, so being an upstander is simply the opposite of being a passive bystander. It means taking action, but action suited to the digital space. So it might mean reporting hateful comments or posts immediately, using the platform's tools.
Okay.
It could mean reaching out privately to a friend who's being targeted online, just offering support, saying, I saw that, that's not okay, are you all right? Validating their feelings. It definitely means refusing to amplify negativity, not sharing, not liking, not commenting on toxic stuff, just to join in.
So it's about cultivating like an ethical presence
Mhm.
and actively supporting others.
That's it. That's the core. It's the ultimate defense against things like cyberbullying and just general online toxicity. Proactive support.
It connects that abstract idea of be a good person to concrete digital actions they can actually take.
Yes. And these tools, the grandma rule,
Mhm.
footprint management being an upstander they give you, the mentor, the vocabulary, the starting point for conversations. It shifts the focus from don't break the rules to, okay, how does the upstander principle apply here? What should we do in this situation?
Right. It becomes a collaborative problem-solving thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have the philosophy mentor, not police officer, and we have these practical tools. Now, let's unpack the how. Segment 3. The learning framework itself. For our listeners who value efficiency and who doesn't, we need to understand how this is taught day to day. The sources emphasize flexibility, manageable steps.
Yeah, the whole structure is designed very intentionally to combat, frankly, attention decay and information overload.
Yeah.
Which is real for busy parents and for kids used to super fast content.
Makes sense.
So the core design element is brevity. Lessons are deliberately kept short, focused. They're meant to be manageable daily or maybe weekly activities. The idea is gradual, steady enhancement of digital literacy. We really stress taking steady, small steps instead of trying to do one massive, overwhelming lecture that nobody remembers.
Okay, short and focused, steady steps. How's the actual material organized? You said it avoids feeling like a textbook.
Right. The whole curriculum is divided into 5 main sections, sort of big themes. But then those are broken down further into brief, conversation-based modules. The structure ensures the content serves the dialogue, instead of the dialogue struggling to keep up with dense text.
Got it. So let's get really practical. If a family commits, say, just 10 or 15 minutes a day, what does that actually look like? What happens in those 15 minutes?
Okay, so a single daily component is quite structured but still concise. It always has 3 parts. First, there's the content. This is a quick hit of info, an explanation of the day's essential topic aimed primarily at the parents first. Gives them the context, the confidence.
And how do they get that content?
That's where the flexibility comes in. It's deliberately offered in different formats. You could listen to, say, a 5-minute audio deep dive like this, or watch a similar video version with visuals, text on screen, or just read a concise text summary, whatever works best.
Okay, so the parent gets briefed quickly, then what? Because the interaction with the child is key, right?
Absolutely. So, second part. The discussion questions, usually just 2 simple prompts. They're designed to immediately take that new knowledge and pivot into a conversation with the child.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so maybe after covering the digital footprint, the questions might be something like, can you think of a post you made recently? Let's look at it through the grandma rule filter, or where might this post end up in a year?
Ah, so it forces immediate application, makes it real.
Right. It pushes the parent, mentor, and the child into a real-time chat. moves way beyond just lecturing.
Okay, content, discussion prompts. What's the third part?
The third part is the family activity, a short, hands-on exercise to reinforce the lesson. It might be actually going in and changing a privacy setting together on an app.
Yeah.
Or maybe looking at one of those metaphorical cartoon strips they provide and talking about what it means.
Oh, cartoons. Interesting.
Yeah, usually like a simple 9-panel strip illustrating the concept visually. The activity reinforces that this whole digital safety thing is a shared, active process, not just passive rule following.
I do like that flexibility in formats you mentioned. Text, audio, video, cartoons. It sounds like families can kind of mix and match.
Exactly. Maybe one day you read the text, the next you listen to the audio on the way to school, then you look at the cartoon together later, or combine them. And that repetition, seeing the core message in different ways, that's the pedagogical strength. The main ideas get consistently reinforced. It caters to different learning styles and helps it stick.
And how do you know it is sticking? How is progress tracked?
All right, good question. It's not just about time spent clicking through modules. Finishing the course actually means successfully answering all the quiz questions for each topic. And importantly, these quiz questions are pulled from the pool used for actual certifications on these topics. So it checks for real engagement and actual understanding, not just box ticking.
Okay, that adds a layer of accountability.
Definitely.
So let's wrap this up. We've gone through the philosophy, the tools, the teaching method. What does this all mean for you listening right now? As we finish this deep dive, what's the big takeaway?
I think the foundational idea, the true aim here, isn't just about getting through a 5-week course and then, checking it off the list and relaxing.
Right, it's not a one and done.
No. The real goal is developing habits. Habits of open communication, of shared learning between parent and child. These habits should continue way beyond the official program. The curriculum is really just a structured catalyst designed to make mentorship the new default setting in the family.
So ultimately, the most powerful defense you can give your child isn't a better filter or a stricter rule. It's that ongoing dialogue, that shared understanding of why they need to make certain judgment calls online every single day.
That's it. A shared dialogue is more protective than any lock in the long run.
And if we zoom out, connect this to the bigger picture, this shift from restriction to empowerment, it feels like it's saying something profound.
I think it is. It suggests that digital literacy, true digital citizenship, it's actually less about protecting the hardware, the phone, the laptop, and much more about cultivating the internal stuff, the moral resilience, the judgment needed to navigate any complex future environment.
Whether that's the metaverse or a tricky work situation or just a personal relationship.
Exactly. These are transferable life skills, really, wrapped in a digital context.
Okay, so here's a final thought I want to leave you with. A challenge, maybe. Where else in your life, maybe you're parenting, sure, but maybe in managing your team at work or leading a community group, where else might you be relying on restriction, maybe even fear, to maintain control? And what might happen if you consciously shifted towards a mentor-based philosophy, towards empowerment? Could that build greater long-term resilience and competence in the people you lead?
That's a powerful question to mull over.
Something